Pentland are a UK-based healthcare company with over 30 years' experience in supplying products to the NHS and private healthcare sector in the UK. We focus on genuinely interesting products with clinical advantages, often patented technology, and we specialise in dealing with the clinicians and organisations associated with professional healthcare. We believe healthcare in the UK is one of the most demanding markets in the world. In recent years, there's a procurement ethos that's developed that not only dictates financial planning, but also affects the way that clinical measurement is taken care of on account of new products and technology. Whilst we appreciate cost management is important, we also believe that technological advances and innovation should be allowed to flourish. We are clearly living in an exciting era where technology is producing better and more effective clinical advantages than ever before. We're here at Greenwich University to introduce a new technology to the UK from the USA. We're at the British Recovery Nurses Association annual meeting, and this is the first showing in the UK of the ALR OneSense pulse oximetry probe. This technology is quite exciting in the sense that it's unique and measures pulse oximetry from the nasal alar, the fleshy part of the nose here. The nasal alar region is an important area for measuring pulse oximetry in that it's related to the internal and external carotid arterial supply. This provides a very robust signal area for the physiological measurements that the pulse oximeter can actually measure. Ongoing development of the ALR OneSense pulse oximetry probe is truly exciting. The next version will not only measure pulse oximetry, but also heart rate and breath-by-breath respiratory rate. Further ongoing development of the ALR OneSense sensor will mean that the sensor can be connected via the audio input socket to any smartphone or tablet device, enabling low-cost mobile monitoring.
It is very important to run our annual conference, but that's not enough. We also need to provide and produce very high standard journal and particularly newsletter. People want constantly information about the latest things that are happening in anesthetic and recovery nursing. Journal and newsletter and conferences, they are all very important part in providing this education or educational need for nurses. BARNA is facing huge challenges currently in this financial situation that the whole Europe and the whole world is in. Before, it used to be so easy to run a conference. The hospitals had enough money to provide education for nurses, pay for their courses, they travel even. And a membership, that doesn't happen anymore. And now, unfortunately, even nurses themselves have to finance their attendance in a conference. And it's hard for them. The content is so important in these meetings and conferences. The lecturers indeed have to be of high caliber, and the contents in their lectures have to be up to date. But that's not everything. We really need the company's support and sponsorship. They are people, after all, that provide the current information regarding the equipment and that the nurses need in their everyday work. And they don't really have that access nowadays to company representatives as they used to. Now everything has to go through procurement, so there's not that face-to-face contact that companies need and the nurses need. You can be very isolated in your specialty if you never see a representative from a company. Indeed, we have many companies this year in our BARNA conference that have brought in exciting new technologies, and Pentland being one of them. They have brought from America new pulse oximeter sensor called ALR. And this is very exciting indeed, because I can see many benefits in patient care and safety by using this product. Developing relationship with other stakeholders is so important. I probably didn't realize this in early years of BARNA. Now I really understood the teamwork between AAGBI, BARNA, and RCN and BARNA. We can develop procedures and documentation, have ideas together that all benefit patient safety. And that can only benefit the National Health Service in the long run.
Cable jackets design mean that you only have one easily wiped down antibacterially coated surface to maintain, rather than a litany of cables, pipes, noses that can harbour bacteria. Cable Jacket's unique design truly promotes a more hygienic environment in any clinical situation. Also reduces the trip hazards associated with the cables, pipes and hoses in the clinical environment.
We date back to 1932, which predates the National Health Service, which, as you know, started in about 1948, and also our sister organisation, the Royal College of Anaesthetists, which we started in 1948. There really hasn't been a significant development in anaesthesia or perioperative care in the United Kingdom and Republic of Ireland that we have not been involved in the last 82 years. I suppose if you asked me what our core concerns and core activities were, I would say straight to you, they are safety, they are education, and they are research. Now, you would expect a professional representative organisation like the AAGBI to be primarily concerned with its members, with the doctors, but we absolutely do not put our doctors, our members first. We put our patients first every single time because we strongly believe that an organisation that supports and protects the safety and treatment of its patients, keeps its patients well, is also in the interests of its members. Fit, healthy and safe patients mean fit, healthy and safe anaesthetists. Inevitably, a speciality like anaesthesia, which has a direct patient interface and involves instrumentation of patients, has got a very important role to play in infection control. If we don't obey current best practice rules and guidelines in making sure that what we do to patients carries a minimal risk of infection, we can put our patients significantly at risk. Do you know, not long ago, I stopped at the side of a road at the scene of an accident, and I was a first responder at the accident. And I walked in, and the patient looked quite injured. And I looked around me, and I suddenly realised there was very little I could do, because I didn't have any equipment. And it really made me understand that anaesthetists, without the equipment that they use to treat patients, are nothing more than first aiders in that respect. We need that equipment to provide the specialised care that we provide to patients. Now, I'm really proud to say that the association, throughout its long history, has had a fantastic relationship with the industry. It is mostly, or at least in part, through BARNA, which is the British Anaesthetic and Respiratory Equipment Manufacturers Association. We have regular meetings with them and regular meetings with their industry members. Now, if I could take a good example of one of the industry partners with whom we work, I perhaps could pick Pentland Medical. Now, we have known them for many years. They are good in supporting us and supporting our major meetings, WSM in London every January, and our annual Congress in September, which moves around the country. We know them, we know their products, we know the people involved. So if any of our members come to us and say, look, we've had a problem with a product, or we'd like to give some feedback or a product, or we've got a great new idea about a product, we can take that idea straight back to the industry and we can start to get them working on any corrections, any improvements or any new equipment. Now obviously monitoring is absolutely key to what we as anaesthetists do. It forms the very core of our safe management of patients. And I'm particularly excited that Pentland Medical has got a new piece of monitoring equipment which will give us 3 continuous different modalities from a tiny little clip placed on a patient's nose. It's going to give me heart rate, it's going to give me oxygen saturation, and believe it or not, it's going to give me respiratory rate. Now, they've starting to produce that equipment, but it's absolutely vital for the ongoing development of that equipment that when we as anaesthetists use that equipment, we feed back to them our views about it so that they can then feed that back into the development process.
Respiratory motion during many clinical procedures can be crucial for patient safety. A recent study, part funded by UK Cancer Research, suggests that patients undergoing radiation therapy for left-hand breast cancer can endure heart damage and tissue damage due to stray ionisation. Breath is already proven as a successful tool in radiation therapy and CT-guided biopsy. There are other studies ongoing in the field of cardiac MRI that are suggesting breath hold could be an invaluable tool in this field also.
We were founded as the National Association of Theatre Nurses in 1964 by our founding member, who was Daisy Aris, she was quite a trailblazer for her time. She wanted to share best practice and make sure that we engaged with each other working in the perioperative environment. She went across to America and saw how their organisation worked and came back enthused with the passion for sharing that culture and patient safety. So she founded the National Association for Theatre Nurses in Leeds in West Yorkshire, and obviously this year is our 50th anniversary year, and we're celebrating 50 years of sharing best practice, engaging with our members. So I work very closely with the Board of Trustees to make sure that we're meeting our charitable requirements, which is to promote safer surgery within the perioperative environment. We like to work in collaboration with the medical device partners because they're passionate about patient safety just as much as we are as an organisation. And through our accreditation programme, we can accredit their learning, which enhances the use of their equipment. So they're making sure all the time that when they put a piece of equipment into a theatre, the people who are going to use it are trained effectively, and we endorse that training and accreditation for them. So we have that link, and then we use our medical device partners to sponsor us for regional study days and different events across our year to get them in front of the people who are going to be using their products and to sort of enhance that safety feature really. The procurement processes, the medical device partners are having to justify all the time how they spend their money, and it has to be linked to education. So for them, the NHS procurement has changed, but also the way that the medical device partners work has changed. So we've had to develop our ways of working to bring those two things together to make sure that we still have that cohesive way of collaborating on educational projects. The Francis report has had an impact on AfPP because it highlighted the appalling care that was delivered at the Mid-Staffs Hospital, and a lot of the things that came out of the Francis report were around the interaction with patients rather than the actual patient care. We all assume when a nurse or a practitioner is working within practice that they've had the relevant training to skill them up to be able to do that job, but we don't always train them in the human factors elements of delivering that care. So we've been talking recently around communication, the situational awareness and things like that, and those were all the elements that Francis sort of mentioned as part of his report, and how the communication had failed, and because of that the care deteriorated as a result. Because of the Francis report, it's given AfPP an opportunity to look at its curriculum of learning and how we provide that learning to our members, and we've developed a whole team training package that gets whole teams within the hospitals together, so from the surgeons right down to your healthcare assistants, because teams who work together should train together, and that gives them an opportunity to build a safe environment where they can speak up and speak out. And if things aren't going in the way that they felt they should be going, it gives them an opportunity to say, well, when we did the training, we agreed that we will behave in a certain way, and if they're not behaving in that way, then it gives them that right to say those things because they've all agreed that that was the way that they were going to work together. So we've built that curriculum to be able to support the outcomes of the Francis report. AfPP's objectives for the next 5 years have been set through a strategic plan that the trustees and myself have been involved in producing, and our main objective is to grow our membership, because the stronger our membership, the bigger the voice we have in the perioperative environment, and that gives us more opportunity to deliver our charitable objective, which is to promote safer surgery within the perioperative environment. We currently have around 6,000 members, and we gain members every month, but we lose members off the other side for different reasons. So it's about making our membership benefits the benefits of choice for people working in the perioperative environment, so we become the association of choice for those individuals. We want to develop our training arm, so our whole team training, our consultancy, and we can only do that through working closer with the NHS. but our members are key to what we do as an association, and I think that's where our focus will be over the next sort of 3 to 5 years.
Today's healthcare market in the UK is driven by procurement and a value for money ethos. We understand this at Pentland Medical and constantly strive to bring you products that offer genuine clinical advantages. Our continuing positive engagement with organisations such as the AEGBI, AfPP and BARNA are one reason that we are able to achieve this. If you would like further information on any of the products we've discussed here today, visit www.pentlandmedical.co.uk. Thank you.